Glad that you tuned in to KUTV Primetime News tonight. Our reporters have been up and about, interacting with different issues and different people. And they have brought you different stories tonight. Here are the top ones. To celebrate Eid al-Adha.
Nasherehekea siku ya Eid al-Adha, siku ya kuchinja. Alhamdulillah, Eid Mubarak nyote inshallah.
Islam anaona kwamba ni mambo ya kuchinja ya kawaida au ni nyama tu, amekosea kwa hakika, anahitajia kurudi tena katika Qur'an.
President Ruto gathers Africa's key financial and industrial leaders to advance green industrialization.
This will not only navigate the emerging geopolitical economic order, but also shape it to reflect our collective aspirations for stability and prosperity.
Gachagua teams up with Kalonzo to slam Ruto's economic agenda.
Muko tayari? Tushikane tufukuze Kasongo.
And Kutv pushes for higher capitation in the 2025 budget, says it would improve quality of education. This is KUTV Primetime News with Mutegi K. Martin. 5 minutes past the top of the hour, time for us to dive right in. And we begin. Now, Muslim faithful in Mombasa have been urged to show kindness and compassion to the less privileged during the Eid al-Adha celebrations. Sheikh Islam Salim, who led the prayers, emphasized the importance of emulating Prophet Ibrahim's obedience and sacrifice. He called on congregants to reflect on the spiritual essence of the festival by sharing with neighbors and supporting the poor, regardless of faith or background.
Thousands of faithful clad in dazzling white robes and vibrant traditional attire thronged the open grounds and mosques for early morning prayers across Mombasa. The festival of sacrifice, observed on the 10th day of Dhul Hijjah in the Islamic lunar calendar, coincides with the climax of Hajj pilgrimage in Mecca. But what exactly is Eid al-Adha, and why is it so deeply revered?
Ibada kuchinja si ibada.
Thronged the open grounds and mosques for early morning prayers across Mombasa. The festival of sacrifice, observed on the 10th day of Dhul Hijjah in the Islamic lunar calendar, coincides with the climax of Hajj pilgrimage in Mecca. But what exactly is Eid al-Adha, and why is it so deeply revered?
Ibada kuchinja si ibada ambayo inafanywa kwa ajili ya wanyama au kwa ajili ya kuonesha watu kwamba unachinja, bali ni ibada ambayo unaitekeleza kwa hakika ni kwa sababu ya amri ya Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala na mtume wake Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hii ni sunna ambayo mtume ametufundisha kila Eid inapotokea, na sunna hii ina historia kubwa katika Uislamu. Inarudi historia yake katika enzi ya Nabii Ibrahim pamoja na mwanawe Ismail alayhi salam. Wao ndio walikuwa chanzo cha kuanzilisha hii.
The atmosphere was one of joy, reverence and reflections as imams led powerful sermons, reminding worshippers of Prophet Imam's unwavering faith, messages of unity, sacrifice and care for the less fortunate echoed through prayer grounds.
Au kwa urahisi, sababu ni jambo ambalo ndani yake kuna uchaji Mungu. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ndani ya Qur'ani anasema lan yanala Allahu luhumuha wala dima'uha walakin yanaluhu taqwa minkum. Katika ile ibada yenu ya kuchinja eni Waislamu, Allah azza wa jalla anapata ndani yake kwamba Waislamu ni wachaji Mungu kwa kutekeleza ibada hii. Kwa hivyo Muislamu anayeona kwamba ni mambo ya kuchinja ya kawaida au ni nyama tu, amekosea kwa hakika, anahitajia kurudi tena katika Qur'ani na kuangalia mafundisho ya Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam ili kuelewa umuhimu wa ibada kama hii.
Sheikh Islam Salim urged the faithful to unite, love and uplift the needy during the celebrations. He also reminded worshippers to observe the Quran teachings when performing Qurban, the ritual sacrifice central to Eid. Local leaders, including Cabinet Secretary for Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs Ali Hassan Joho, echoed calls for unity, forgiveness and compassion. He also offered prayer for the safety of pilgrims currently performing Hajj.
Basi sisi kwanza ni kutoa shukrani kwa Mwenyezi Mungu kwa kutupa nafasi kwa mara nyingine katika maisha yetu kujumuika na kuswali Eid kama Waislamu pale pamoja, na tunashukuru sana Mwenyezi Mungu, alhamdulillah, ni nafasi kubwa.
The day unfolds, families came together to visit relatives, exchange gifts and distributed meat to the needy, fulfilling a key Eid al-Adha ritual that blends worshipper with community care known as Qurbani. Stephen Masha, KUTV, Nairobi.
And Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale has reiterated the call for national unity, emphasizing that Kenya must reject leaders who promote tribalism, hate and division. He was speaking at Garissa, where they were celebrating Eid al-Adha, and urged residents to embrace the Social Health Authority registration known as SHA.
Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale has once again called for unity, urging Kenyans to reject leaders who incite division and tribalism. Speaking after Eid al-Adha prayers at the Masjid Al-Abrar Mosque in Garissa County, Duale emphasized the importance of a united Kenya, free from retrogressive political influences.
We don't want retrogressive political leaders ambaye wanataka kugawanya hii nchi kwa misingi ya kikabila na wanaanzisha vyama vya ukabila. Tunawajua usiku na mchana. Kenya tunataka iwe moja. Muislamu akuwe na haki, Kristo akuwe na haki, kila mtu ambaye anaamini dini yake akuwe na haki. Tunataka makabila zote wakuwe na haki. Na ile development ya serikali igawanywe kulingana na Wakenya wote.
Duale criticized what he termed the formation of tribal political parties, referencing former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagwa's new party, Democracy for the Citizen Party (DCP). He said such political movements were harmful to the country's progress.
Ujisajili na wewe utatibiwa bure. Unaenda hospitali, unaangaliwa na daktari na unapewa dawa, unaangaliwa lab test na unaenda nyumbani. Jana pekee wa Kenya 71,000 wameregister. Kufikia sasa 23 million Kenyans wameregister, na hapa Garissa tuko chini kidogo. Karibu watu 43-45,000 wameregister Garissa County.
In addition to his political remarks, Duale took the opportunity to address the issue of Social Health Authority (SHA) registration, noted that Garissa has some of the lowest registration numbers, and called on residents to join the scheme, which is vital for healthcare access.
Unahitaji tu ujisajili na wewe utatibiwa bure. Unaenda hospitali, unaangaliwa na daktari na unapewa dawa, unaangaliwa lab test na unaenda nyumbani. Jana pekee wa Kenya 71,000 wameregister. Kufikia sasa 23 million Kenyans wameregister, na hapa Garissa tuko chini kidogo. Karibu watu 43-45,000 wameregister Garissa County.
Duale announced that he will lead a major recruitment drive across Garissa County, ensuring more people take part in the program. Cabinet Secretary Duale also called on Kenyan in pastoralist counties where enrollment is still low to register for the scheme. He stressed that it offers many important benefits and will be extremely helpful during emergencies or times of great need. Edward Sakwa, KUTV.
At State House, Nairobi, President William Ruto gathered Africa's key financial and industrial leaders to advance the green industrialization agenda. The meeting emphasized coordinated investment, policy alignment, and partnerships to unlock sustainable economic growth and strengthen Africa's role in the global green economy.
Key leaders from Africa's major financial institutions, development agencies and trade organizations joined President William Ruto in embracing this ambitious vision. They collectively emphasized the importance of pooling resources, harmonizing policies and establishing a unified investment framework to attract both public and private capital for sustainable industrial development.
Unlocking Africa's potential demands deliberate and coordinated action by African governments, financial institutions represented here today, and the private sector. This will not only navigate the emerging geopolitical economic order, but also shape it to reflect our collective aspirations for stability and prosperity.
We believe that the continent's financial architecture represented here should collectively scale up its catalyzing of green industrialization in Africa in several ways.
President Ruto emphasized that Africa is not short on initiative addressing industrialization and climate action. Rather, the challenge lies in deliberating the coordinated efforts by African governments to harness the continent's opportunities. With a rapidly growing population and abundant renewable energy resource, Africa stands as one of the world's most promising emerging markets, poised to become a global hub for green industrial growth.
You will agree with me that Africa is not lacking in initiatives on industrialization, development, or climate action. We are currently implementing the second 10-year plan of Agenda 2063 alongside many other efforts across our continent.
Equity Group CEO James Mwangi highlighted the importance of this collective approach, emphasizing that bringing together African development banks creates a robust support system for entrepreneurs across the continent. He underscored that such coordinated financial backing is essential to unlocking the potential of green industrial projects and ensuring that local business thrive in evolving economy.
I think for us at Equity Bank, we feel the initiative today of getting the African development and commercial banks together as bold but very necessary, because what it means is that the African entrepreneurs will be supported domestically and locally with local currency to play a significant role.
Meanwhile, Wamekele Mene emphasized the crucial role of mobilizing private sector capital alongside development finance institutions. He noted that aligning investment strategies within a unified framework is essential to accelerating green industrialization and making Africa a strong competitor in the global market.
The purpose today is to mobilize private sector capital, mobilize our development finance institutions towards a common framework for investments where we will jointly identify bankable projects, whether it is in critical minerals, whether it is in industrial output, or even indeed in green technologies. You mentioned, President, AI.
The meeting showcased major financial commitments worth billions for industrial infrastructure, renewable energy, and green technologies. Participants emphasized supporting African entrepreneurs to ensure that green energy transformation benefits are inclusive and widespread. Edward Nyamo, KUTV.
It was unity in criticism today as Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka and former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua made a spirited stop in Malili, Makueni County, lighting up the political arena with sharp barbs aimed at the Kenya Kwanza administration. The two leaders, now singing from the same political hymn sheet, appear to be laying the groundwork for a serious push to unseat President William Ruto.
Muko tayari? Tushikane tufukuze Kasongo.
The political gathering in Malili saw opposition leaders ramp up their rhetorical poking holes in the government's economic model. with Gachagua taking the lead in questioning the very foundation of the bottom-up agenda.
Huyu Kasongo alitudanganya ataweka pesa kwa mfuko. Kuliko aweke pesa kwa mfuko, ile kidogo tulikuwa naye akafanya nini? Kasongo aende asiende? Aende asiende?
The former deputy president did not mince his words. He claimed the bottom-up approach has in reality left ordinary Kenyans bottomed out, their pockets lighter and their patience thinner. He accused the government of betraying its promise to empower the Mwananchi, saying taxation policies were chewing into workers' hard-earned salaries faster than ugali on a cold evening.
Huyu jamaa ameharibu mambo ya payslip. Wafanyikazi wote wa public service na private sector amekatakata ile payslip, watu wote wamepata aibu. Serikali ambayo tunataka kuunda ni ya kurudisha heshima ya payslip.
Gachagua also took a swipe at what he described as uninformed advisors surrounding the president, suggesting that their academic credentials might not qualify them to advise on anything more complex than a village fundraiser.
Anatuma mtu ya standard 6 ati kusomea Kalonzo. Ni madharau si malau. Sasa wewe Kasongo, hata kama unataka kusomea huyu kiongozi, huyu wako na PhD, alikuwa waziri, alikuwa vice president, ni kiongozi anaheshimika. Wewe unatuma mtu ya standard 6 ati akuja msomee. Ni madharau si madharau? Na unajua hii serikali ya Kasongo shida yake. Kwa nini tuko kwa shimo? Advisors ya Kasongo wawili, moja ni ya standard 4, ingine ni ya standard 6. Si lazima tumepata hasara.
Kalonzo Musyoka meanwhile shifted gears toward infrastructure, faulting the government for dragging its feet on key developments. He singled out the stalled Nairobi-Mombasa highway as a major economic bottleneck, saying the road's completion would help unlock the country's full economic potential.
Hakuna mchezo, sijui kamati gani ya PPP na nini pengine anataka kunyima hii kampuni ya Marekani apatie marafiki zake. Hatutakubali. Kwa hivyo hii ni kitu ya maana, ndio itafungua uchumi wa Kenya. Mimi nilikuwa nikidhani kama tungechukua wakati ule na yule jamaa tulikuwa tunasaidiana naye, hata badala ya kuweka standard railway gauge, number 1 priority was dueling of Mombasa Nairobi highway.
With political temperatures rising and 2027 looming even closer on the horizon, the opposition caravan is expected to roll on, next stop being the coastal region. Magdalene Kanini, KUTV.
Still within the eastern region in Machakos County, Deputy President Kithure Kindiki called out politicians he described as disrespectful, urging them to uphold dignity and conduct themselves with decorum in public spaces. He emphasized the need for respectful political discourse and cautioned leaders against divisive rhetoric. The Deputy President also urged Machakos residents to reject any attempts to sow ethnic divisions, reminding them that no one chooses their tribe at birth, in a message underscoring the importance of unity and the need to focus on a shared national agenda.
Hivyo msiletoe mambo ya ukabila, wacha kila kiongozi auze sera yake, na mimi naomba viongozi wote wakuwe na heshima. Unakuwa na heshima na viongozi wengine na unakuwa na heshima pia na wananchi. That is how we will build a good country. Naona viongozi wengine wanakosea viongozi wengine heshima. Naona viongozi wengine wanakosea wananchi heshima. Mimi nawasihi kama naibu rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, mimi naomba Wakenya sisi zote tuishi kwa amani, umoja, na vile vile tupendane na tuheshimiane. Na heshima sio utumwa. Ukiona heshima usidhani huyo mtu hana namna ya kuwa na madharau. Ni vile ni vizuri kuwa na heshima baina yetu.
22 minutes past the top of the hour. Time for us to take a short breather, but do stay here because we have much more.
Baada ya kuanzisha miradi yetu ambayo ingetusaidia kubadilisha maisha ya wazazi wetu.
Kwa vijana wenzangu wengi wana kazi, lakini ikiwa sisi wenyewe tutajiamini, tunaweza kujiajiri wenyewe.
Afrika kwa kweli tuna mahitaji ambayo ukiyasuluhisha unaweza kuathiri watu kwenye bara hili.
Bila woga, watu huwa na uzalishaji zaidi, wanajawa na ujasiri, wanakuwa wabunifu na wanakuwa wenye maarifa.
Niliamua kuacha kazi, hata kama sitafanikiwa, nitakuwa nimejaribu, nitakuwa najua haiwezekani.
Hakuna kitu cha ajabu hapa. Kila anayepata ufanisi hufanya kazi usiku na mchana.
Kitu kitakusukuma na kuwezesha kupata maarifa ambayo hukuwa nayo.
Tunajaribu kutengeneza kitu kitakachopita mipaka ya nchi hii.
Ikiwa unataka kubadilisha ulimwengu, anza na nyumbani.
Access to knowledge. Solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines specific your rights and repossessing property, intellectual or material.
And more only when law matters.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Mutegi K. Martin. Welcome back. Remember, this live broadcast is also live on Facebook. Did I say Facebook? On YouTube at KUTV_Kenya, KUTV News Kenya, and a conversation on X at KUTV_Kenya. Now we move on where education stakeholders in Kisii County are calling for urgent action to improve learning outcomes, while the Kenyan Union Post-Primary Education Teachers KUPET is pushing for increased capitation and the revival of school feeding program. Kisii University Registrar Academic Kennedy Getange has cautioned students against missteps in the new university funding model.
Speaking in Masaba South during a prize-giving day, Kisii University Registrar Academics Professor Kennedy Getenge advised 2024 KCC candidates to make wise course selections during the KUP's placement, which closes on June 7th. He warned students not to copy information from one another when applying for government financial assistance under the new funding model, stressing that accurate data is key to proper placement in funding bands.
So those ones who succeeded last year, who are going to join the university this year, please, when you are filling the information which is required, ensure that it's accurate. Sometimes some of our students go to the same cave, they use the same data for one person, that same data is duplicated to other students also.
Secretary General Joseph Abincha called on the government to increase capitation from 22,000 to 35,000 per student, arguing that these would directly improve the quality of education.
Ile pesa ya capitation inafaa kwenda juu kwa sababu gharama ya maisha imepanda.
He also demanded the restoration of the school feeding program, whose budget was recently slashed from 7 billion to 3 billion Kenya shillings.
Na pesa shauri yao watafute pesa kwa sababu tumefanya nini? Tumezoea. Ama namna gani? Mumekubaliana hiyo maneno? Ile pesa walikuwa wametoa kwa budget ya 62 billion. Sisi tuliwaambia warudishe mara moja. Hiyo pesa iwekwe. Wale watoto ambao ni maskini wanatoka sehemu zingine hakuna chakula, walikuwa wanapewa 7 billion, wakakata wakapatia 3 billion. Warudishiwe pesa, mtoto mwenye ako njaa hawezi soma, wapatiwe chakula.
Additionally, The union opposed the government proposal to abolish national exam registration fees, warning that the move could unintentionally shift financial burden to already struggling schools and parents.
Na tulikashifu sana serikali kuu kupitia kwa wizara ya elimu, ambapo walikuwa nasema ya kwamba kuanzia mwaka ujao eti watoto wetu waweze kulipa pesa ya mitihani. Hiyo maneno tuliwaambia sisi hatutaki, kwa sababu sisi tumezoea kulipiwa na serikali.
Patricia Alex, KUTV, Kisi.
Now, a section of leaders has called for national unity, responsible leadership, and an end to tribal and divisive politics, emphasizing the need to focus on development and service delivery for all Kenyans. Speaking at a women's empowerment event in Mwingi West, hosted by MP Charles Nguna, the leaders urged a shift from political wrangles to people-centered progress. National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula stressed that leadership must rise above partisanship. He condemned tribal rhetoric, emphasizing that Kenya's diversity should be a unifying strength.
Rais anasema siasa ilikwisha tulipomaliza kura. Siasa ingine itakuja tukiingia kura ya 2027. Wakati huu tufanyie wananchi kazi. Ndio na washukuru viongozi wenu. Wamekuwa State House, wamekaa na rais, wametoa orodha ya kazi ambazo zinatakikana serikali ifanye.
Hiyo amepiga safari na amekula vumbi, a former sitting deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. Amekula vumbi akielekea na kule Seku. Mpaka macho inakuwa ya brown. Mpaka nywele inakuwa ya brown.
Kwa sababu yeye anachukia Ruto kwa sababu alishindwa kazi na akaambiwa kaa kando. Hati anataka tumsaidie kuchukia rais. Wakamba mko tayari kusaidia wa Munyoro kuchukia rais?
Possible. Our kingpin Kalonzo Musyoka. The time is coming. Wakamba people, they are going to be tired, not to be opposition people. Kwani wakamba sisi ndio uliomba tukwange watu wa kukataa?
Now, as Parliament prepares to debate the highly anticipated Finance Bill 2025, fresh concerns are emerging over the government's fiscal priorities and the growing burden on ordinary Kenyans. From underfunded education programs to data access, fears tied to the proposed tax amendments, the pushback is gaining momentum. Tonight, we take you to the heart of these matters as lawmakers and citizens alike question, who is this budget really for?
We work with them.
Kiharu, Member of Parliament and former House Business Committee Chair Ndindi Nyoro, is calling on the government to craft a genuinely Kenyan budget, one that prioritizes the needs of citizens over the interest of international lenders.
It is very important for us as a country, as we do the budgeting for our country. We may afford to cheat other people outside, but I have never seen a lie where you can cheat yourself.
Speaking in Murang'a County, Nyoro singled out the education sector, lamenting its continued underfunding. He raised the alarm over the initial omission of exam-related financing, only for it to be hastily awarded 5 billion shillings capitation, a figure he says barely covers half of the 11 billion shillings needed to effectively administer national exams across the country.
SIR examination, there was none, it was zero. Sasa wakajaribu wakafanya ukarabati kidogo, ile capitation haipo inatosha, wakakata zaidi bilioni 5.
The vocal legislator also took issue with the proposed amendments in the Finance Bill 2025 that would grant the Kenya Revenue Authority broader access to personal and business data. Nyoro was specifically referring to a contentious clause proposing the repeal of Section 59(1)(b) of the Tax Procedures Act, which currently prevents the KRA from integrating its system directly with those of private businesses.
There are laws in Kenya that protect every Kenyan when it comes to their data. We cannot afford then to open that practice. Kazi ya KRA inaleta mabiashara na kazi yake ni kuokota kodi kwa sababu nchi itaenda mbele. Lakini hawezi pewa ruhusa ati sasa watakuwa wanachukuza Mkenya kila kitu ambaye anafanya. They must have limits.
The sentiment appears to resonate with far beyond Parliament. In Machakos County, during a public participation forum on the bill, citizens echoed similar reservations, not only about the expanded powers being granted to KRA, but also about the tight timelines surrounding the finance bill's passage.
First thing about the KRA accessing the accounts of the citizens, that one we reject vehemently. We say no to KRA. We are suggesting that the government should not access the information of the citizens.
Many describe the public engagement process as a rushed and called for more inclusive dialogue.
Reti kutoa maoni yangu kila wakati mimi naulizia public participation zote za serikali kwanza ndio huwa nataka sana.
Tafadhali kwenda nyumbani. Alafu ikao tu wafanye venye wanataka. Manake kama ni saa 4, saa 4 saa 7, wananchi watakaa hapa bure. Hayo watu hawezi kaa hapa bure. Kama ni National Assembly imemaanisha saa 4 ikuwe saa 4. Tunaonanga saa zile wako na vikao huko bungeni. Ikianza saa 3:30 wanga wamejaa pale.
Budget and Appropriations Committee Chair Samuel Atandi tabled the revised 2025-2026 budget estimates before the National Assembly. The proposed budget now stands at 4.239 trillion shillings. Of that amount, the executive is slated to receive 2.497 trillion. Parliament is allocated 42.5 billion.
Lakini hizi vikao vya kuchukua maoni ya wananchi, they don't take them serious. And this is something that is actually shows these people, the legislators that we are having, don't like or don't have the spirit of public participation at heart.
As scrutiny deepens, the Finance Bill 2025 remains a focal point of national debate, marked as a progressive tool to streamline tax policy, enhance revenue collection, and spur economic growth. The bill is at a phase of expressing its authenticity, with questions looming about whose interest the reforms truly serve. Emmanuel Kutosi, KUTV.
Now, the Jubilee Party has come out strongly against the government's recent decision to slash capitation funding, calling the move a dangerous setback for the country's education system and a direct threat to disadvantaged students. During a consultative meeting with grassroots leaders in Embu County aimed at reviving party support, Jubilee's Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni issued a stern warning that the funding cuts could drive countless students out of school.
Mtu mwenye anaamka asubuhi anasema ya kwamba watoto hatalipia shule. A person who does not think about the welfare of our children, he is not worth being a president. Na kwende unasema kwende huko. Tunaelewana? Kenya hii leo hii ni boma gani haina mtoto ambaye anatakana kwenda shule lakini wazazi hawana uwezo? Wewe ukitoa ile iliwekwa na Uhuru ya capitation, utuachie watoto, kichwa yako iko sawa? Na unaanza kuzunguka hapa na maneno mengine hatuelewi. Kuzurura bila break. Na ile mzuri ni hii mtu ya wanta aanze kuandika exit plan yake ya kutoka uongozini wa Kenya.
9:37 p.m. time for us to take a second short break right here on KUTV Primetime News. We still have a lot more in store for you, so keep it here.
Baada ya kutafuta kazi, tunaweza kuanzisha miradi yetu ambayo ingetusaidia kubadilisha maisha ya wazazi wetu.
Kwa vijana wenzangu, wengi ndio wana kazi, lakini ikiwa sisi wenyewe tutajiamini, tunaweza kujiajiri wenyewe.
Afrika kwa kweli tuna mahitaji ambayo ukiyasuluhisha unaweza kuathiri watu kwenye bara hili
bila uoga. Watu huwa na uzalishaji zaidi, wanajawa na ujasiri, wanakuwa wabunifu na wanakuwa wenye maarifa.
Niliamua kuacha kazi. Hata kama sitafanikiwa, nitakuwa nimejaribu, nitakuwa najua haiwezekani.
Hakuna kitu cha ajabu hapa. Kila anayepata ufanisi hufanya kazi usiku na mchana.
kitu kitakusukuma na kuwezesha kupata maarifa ambayo hukuwa nayo.
Tunajaribu kutengeneza kitu kitakachopita mipaka ya nchi hii.
Ikiwa unataka kubadilisha ulimwengu, anza na nyumbani.
Hi, my name is Stella Tioi.
Jina langu naitwa Okemwa Mwokoa James.
This is Mandela Gaya.
Ugonjwa ulipokuja ulichukua siku 3 ukaniweka in coma. 20 wamezikwa, 2 ndio wako.
I don't even know how it feels to see.
I feel like I cannot express myself well the way somebody who can walk can actually express themselves.
Ilichukua muda mwingi mrefu tena mpana ili nikubali kwamba mimi siwezi tembea tena.
I've come to actually accept myself.
Ukijaribu kumsimamisha mtu mwambie tafadhali nionyeshe njia.
They find it quite strange talking to you.
We should just make schools integrated,
Inclusive setups.
by providing the right facilities.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with Mutegi K. Martin. And you're still tuned to KUTV Primetime News. Let's continue. Now, the First Lady's Mazingira Awards, Flama 2025, have officially kicked off at Lenana School. And this year, it's the students who are planting the seeds of change, quite literally. The initiative, championed by Her Excellency Mama Rachel Ruto, rallies young learners to take the lead in climate action, all while contributing to Kenya's ambitious goal of growing 15 billion trees by 2032.
Originally introduced during the 2023 Africa Climate Summit, Flama was Mama Rachel Ruto's call to arms. Now the 2025 edition is here, and it's not just recognizing students, it's celebrating their creativity, grit, and green thumbs in protecting the environment. This year's launch themed End Pollution, Conserve the Environment echoed the global call for action tied to the 2025 World Environment Day. And let's just say the energy on the ground was pure chlorophyll-charged enthusiasm. Florence Amoit, Secretary of Administration at the State Department for Basic Education, did not beat around the bush. She hailed learners as the backbone of Kenya's 15 billion tree ambition. Her math, if every learner plants just 4 trees a year, we are talking over 50 million trees annually.
Pillar in terms of supporting the delivery of the 15 billion trees by 2032. Our main pillar is our learning institutions.
Elizabeth Koskei, CEO of Mama Doing Good, praised Flama as the ultimate grassroots game changer, literally and figuratively. With over 8.9 million learners set to participate, she said the initiative offers young minds a voice, a platform, and maybe even a reason to play in the soil.
I think I needed to recognize the education fraternity associations that have come to be with us today and to launch this second edition of our Mama Doing Good Capture, Nat, K-Water, and the special schools teachers association who are present here. We don't take your presence for granted. We appreciate you. And we know without you, we would not have scratched the surface on this program.
Flama isn't just about digging holes and planting seedlings. It's also nurturing key competency-based education skills, from creativity and critical thinking to active citizenship.
Last year, we were having our annual delegates conference in Mombasa, and our good partners came in. They had a tent where they showcased and they were able to enlighten our teachers of the importance of conservation nurturing the trees, because it is not only the planting, it is taking care of the trees.
The award even branches into the arts and sports science pathway, proving you can flex your green muscles and your creativity once too. Kenya National Union of Teachers Hezbon Otieno applauded the initiative, especially as the country battles plastic waste. Finally, a problem students can tackle without writing a dreaded composition. Kenya Primary Schools Head Teachers Association Chair Ali Fuad promised full support from head teachers nationwide, with students leading the charge. Flama 2025 isn't just an award, it's a leafy, lively, learning-powered movement for a cleaner, greener Kenya. Magdalene Kanini, KUTV.
Narok County First Lady Agnes Ntutu has urged for sustainable, innovative solutions to plastic pollution, citing its damage to wildlife, rivers, and land. Speaking at Talek Girls, she continued to encourage people to speaking in Talek Girls Secondary School during the World Environmental Day, she emphasized urgent action. Narok West Deputy County Commissioner Joseph Lewa called for stakeholder involvement, noting recycling can generate income. Environment Chief Officer Willie Loigero encouraged investment in eco-friendly alternatives, while Nema Jackson Mutoro reminded citizens that fighting pollution starts with individual responsibility.
Plastic pollution is a problem here in Narok and globally. It's pollution to our rivers and even soil. Plastics block drainage, hence causing flooding. Plastics are also dangerous to our wildlife, our livestock. So plastics are not decomposed, they don't decompose.
Gari inatoka Narok inaenda Nairobi na mtu amekunywa juice, amekunywa maji, na ikifika karibu na Maimayo anachukua chupa na anairusha nyuma, na hajui kama anaharibu mazingira, na hajui pia kama kuna gari zingine hata hiyo chupa pia inaweza kugonga kioo ya gari na ipasuke, na itakuwa imeharibu mazingira.
We want actually to tell the world and also the business community that we recycle these bottles.
You have been taught the theme of this year is about beating plastic pollution. And the beating plastic pollution simply means removing plastic and their negative effect on the environment.
Now, Siaya County has received medical equipment worth over 54 million shillings from Amref Health Africa and the Center for Health Solutions, that is CHS, to boost the fight against tuberculosis, malaria, and neglected tropical diseases. The donation includes lab equipment, reagents, and 2 portable AI-powered chest X-ray machines. Governor James Orengo thanked the organizations, noting that Siaya's high disease burden requires external support, especially during budget delays from the National Treasury.
But the county governments, including the Siaya County government and the national government, cannot be enough, cannot be sufficient. And if one had to enumerate the assistance we have had from CHS and Amref over the years, it is absolutely invulnerable. And as you know, every year we have a crisis about the share of equitable revenue between the national government and the counties. And these discussions sometimes go on way into the last months of the financial year.
Partner of the Department of Health at Siaya County for the last 8 years. Today, the purpose of this visit is to hand over new equipment to the Department of Health in Siaya County. This will support with the screening and diagnosis of tuberculosis.
I'm honored to join you today on behalf of AMREF Health Africa in the journey of eliminating neglected tropical diseases in this region and in this country.
Once close political allies, Elon Musk and President Donald Trump have experienced a dramatic and very public falling out in June 2025. Their fractured alliance, filled with policy rifts, personal jabs, and financial fallout, marks a striking shift in America's political and business dynamics, and quite possibly its entertainment value.
Elon Musk and President Donald Trump, once an unlikely but powerful political duo, are now locked in a headline-worthy rivalry that equal parts policy disagreement and personality clash. Elon Musk, who donated more than $250 million to Trump's 2024 re-election campaign and used his social media platform X, which was formerly Twitter, to rally support, was rewarded with a high-profile role, which was the head of the newly created Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Yes, that's the real acronym. His job was to cut red tape and trim government fat. But the bromance began to unravel with the arrival of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, a sweeping legislative package championed by President Trump. Musk criticized it for ballooning the national deficit by $2.5 trillion and for cutting electric vehicle subsidies, urging it unfairly favored fossil fuels while punishing innovators. Trump, never one to take criticism lightly, especially from a former ally, fired back, accusing Musk of being driven by personal gain. He went as far as threatening to pull federal contracts from Tesla and SpaceX. The drama quickly spilled on X, where Musk upped the ante by suggesting Trump had connection to Jeffrey Epstein, turning the policy dispute into a full-blown online slugfest. The financial fallout was swift and brutal. Tesla stock nosedived, shedding roughly $152 billion in value in one day, while Musk's personal fortune shrank by at least $20 billion and expect to lose an argument. Meanwhile, Musk has hinted at launching a centric political party, potentially siphoning support from the GOP and reshaping the electoral map. Online, the feud has become a meme god, with social media likening it to celebrity breakup, with complete digital shed, subtweets, and awkward Oval Office photo ops. Musk's tenure at Doge concluded on 30th May 2025, after 130 days of ambitious forum, internal chaos, and more than a few viral posts. Blue Ismail Hassan, KUTV.
Jina langu naitwa Okemwa Mwokoa James.
This is Mandela Gaya.
Ugonjwa ulipokuja ulichukua siku 3 ukaniweka in coma. 20 wamezikwa, 2 ndio wako hai.
I don't even know how it feels to see.
I feel like I cannot express myself well the way somebody who can walk can actually express themselves.
Ilichukua muda mwingi mrefu tena mpana ili kuikubali kwamba mimi siwezi tembea tena.
I've come to actually accept myself.
Ukijaribu kumsimamisha mtu mwambie tafadhali nionyeshe njia,
They find it quite strange talking to you.
We should just make schools integrated,
Inclusive setups.
by providing the right facilities.
Welcome back. Let's now get sporty. In a UEFA Nations League semi-finals, Spain defeated France 5-4 at the MHP Arena on Thursday night. Spain took an early lead with Nico Williams finding the back of the net in the 22nd minute, followed by Mikel Merino just 3 minutes later. The young sensation Lamine Yamal extended Spain's dominance from a penalty spot in the 54th minute, and Pedri added the fourth in the 55th, seemingly putting Spain's win beyond doubt. However, France launched a sensational comeback. Kylian Mbappe converted the penalty in the 59th minute, and debutant Ryan Cherki scored a stunning long-range effort in the 79th. A Danny Vivian own goal in the 84th minute and a Randall Kolo Muani header in added time brought France close to a 5-5 draw. Spain will now face Portugal in the UEFA Nations League final on Sunday, June 8th at the Allianz Arena in Munich. We've come to the end of the conversation for now, but stay tuned to KUTV and your experience for more educative, informative, and entertaining programs right here on KUTV. And be sure to catch us at 6:30 tomorrow for Mizizi Weekendi and at 9 p.m. for Weekend Live. I've been your host and presenter for tonight, Mutegi K. Martin. Have a good night.